Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Doing a fun type of video today. We're gonna be talking about some bucket list books. Sorry, I'm just organizing them down here. I probably should have done that before I hit the red button there. But yeah, talking about some bucket list books that I want to read before too long, or before I move on in this world, so to speak. But before we jump into things, I'm a little bit sick, unfortunately. The flu's got my town in a chokehold and I'm its next victim, so sound a little congested, a little nasally, that's why. And I just want to shout everyone that's watching, shout you guys out. Appreciate you watching. Hope you're all having a great day. Consider subscribing if you're new. We just recently passed 250 subscribers, which is like insane. I don't even know 250 people, so I can't even picture that. But yeah, consider subscribing if you're new, give it a like if you like it, and things like that. And let's talk books. Bucket list book number 1, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Now, eventually I want to get around to reading all of her great works, but I think I'll start with this one. I think this one is the quintessential romance novel of its time, and maybe even of our time as well. Onyx Storm Who, Pride and Prejudice is the way. I don't know, I haven't read either. My sister and my girlfriend love that series. I forget what it's called. The Fourth Wing series. It's not called the Fourth Wing, it's called something else, but you need to eventually get around to reading that as well. Too many good books to read, apparently. But yeah, Pride and Prejudice, it's sort of the quintessential romance novel written in the 1790s, I believe. So it's getting up there, but this next book is just a little bit older. This is Miguel de Cervantes' Don Quixote. I got this in the Edith Grossman translation in this nice red edition. Picked this up from Half Price Books. I think I spent like $7 on it. I also got this one, Pride and Prejudice, from Half Price Books. You can see the damage by the sticker. It's just a cheap, what are these called? Wordsworth editions. This one, Pride and Prejudice, like $3. This was $7. Yeah, and this book, wrong way. This one's sort of heralded as the first novel ever written, and it's quite a funny one, I've heard. It's sort of a funny, comedic, epic tale of a knight and his assistant or something, or friend, I believe. And yeah, eventually I'll get around to reading this. This was written in the 1540s, if I'm not mistaken, so getting up there, nearly 500 years old. It's obviously still in print to this day, so it's got some good street cred, I'll call it that. Yeah, eventually I'll get around to reading this, Don Quixote. Alrighty, next on the list here, I guess it's a collection of books. Some of them that I've read in their entirety, some of them just passages, but I've never read it cover to cover, so to speak, as a reader. It's the Bible. I figured I'd throw this on the list. This is the New Living Translation, I believe. Yeah, New Living Translation. This was like my first Bible I got when I was, who knows how long, when I could read. So yeah, like I said, I've read the full books within it. I've read passages of some books, but I've never read it, from Genesis to Revelation, cover to cover, as a reader, so to speak, before. Maybe they'll offer me some new insights as to things I haven't noticed before while I was reading those passages. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a pretty deep cut take, throw this on the list. Sort of something you revisit week to week, and yeah, give this a shot, reading it in sort of a novel fashion rather than just sort of a student of the word at the time. Alright, next one's a big one. if you watched my big books video, the 5 big books I want to read this year, I'm actually currently reading 2 of them. This would be a 3rd one. I don't know if I'll read it this year, but I figured I'd put it on the list as some bucket list books regardless, because I want to read it. That is Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. Conflicted about this edition. It has the proper translation and it's well put together. This is the Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition, and it is utterly massive. And it's it's the translation that I want as well. The Anthony Briggs translation. The things I don't like about it, well, first and foremost, the cover. I think the cover is sort of hideous. I like the Oxford World Classics cover better. And these little I don't know what they're called, but these pages that are uneven, I hate those. I don't know why people like them. I don't know. Yeah, it sort of looks sloppy. But this was, I think, one of the only editions that has the translation that I wanted. I forget who does the Oxford, excuse me, who does the Oxford World Classics edition. I don't know. I want to say it's like Maud or something. And I did not like that translation in the slightest. When reading excerpts from them and picking them, that's sort of how I did it. But yeah, War and Peace, it's sort of an epic tale. There's religious ties to this. There's romance, there's war tactics, there's betrayal, there's sort of thrilling elements. Obviously, it better have all these things for how big it is. And I'll get around eventually to picking that up. Alrighty, let me stack them all back up here. Last but not least, if you watched my vintage book haul collection video, you'll be familiar with this one. This is probably the coolest looking book that I have. This is this edition of Herman Melville's Moby Dick, and this nice leather bound hardcover with the embossed gold on the front and sides. Oh. This is the back of it too. It's this like sort of blue, dark blue, almost looks like camouflage colorway. But yeah, this is actually my mom's copy of the book, excuse me. She read like a cheap paperback in college of it and then got this nicer edition of it when she graduated, or maybe she was gifted it as a graduation present, I'm not sure. It has this, oops, it has this nice sort of floral pattern within the cover, and yeah, a lot of sort of intellectual, so to speak, herald this as one of their favorite books. I'm by no means intellectual, or do I necessarily take their advice and word as gospel, but I figured that it's a classic for a reason, like all of these. Yeah, all of these have been around in print for some time, so might as well give it a shot. It's got some religious ties to it as well, Moby Dick, with the whale itself sort of being an animalification, if that's even a real word. Animalification. There's another word that I'm trying to use, but I don't know what it is. Of God, an animalification of God. And how the whale is so big, you can't possibly look into both of its eyes at once because it's so vast. It's sort of a, I guess a tie into God of how his, sort of, not interference, but his workings are so vast you can't possibly understand what's going on. So, and it's just a good story. It's sort of a study on the human condition and human nature told through a couple of different point of views, and it's just got some cool whaling facts in it just sort of thrown in there as well, which should be interesting to read in its own right. So these are the 5, wrong way, wait, let's get a thumbnail though. Peachy. Yeah, these are the 5 or sort of a set of 5 bucket list books I want to read before I am no longer here. Pride and Prejudice, Don Quixote, the Bible, War and Peace, and Moby Dick. Yeah, and that's that. Let me know if you've read any of these down below. Let me know what you liked of them. I know a couple of you are reading War and Peace currently. I see your comments. I see you. I see you. You know who you are. So far, you guys said that you're liking it. Sorry, I need to stop hitting the camera with the books. It's like I'm a newbie or something. But yeah, consider subscribing if you're new. Give it a like if you liked it. Let me know with a comment if you read any of these books or what you're currently reading, or if you plan on reading these books sometime soon. We can have a discussion about it as always. I love the comments. Keep them coming. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. I appreciate everyone watching. Bye for now.